I'm Emerald and I'm reading from my new book, Monsters. It starts with this German proverb that I found. What do two monsters do when they pass each other in the forest? Smile. Chapter 1, Mummy and Daddy. My parents got smushed to death in a boating accident when I was 9. Don't worry, I'm not that sad about it. Daddy worked in a huge bank in London with a pretty receptionist and a shiny, shiny marble floor with lots of droopy ferns. Mummy was an artist, but mostly this meant she handmade cards for her friends and cried a lot. Daddy said that was what made her an artist, all the crying. They didn't like me very much, or if they did, they didn't particularly show it. I don't think they ever really got to grips with the idea of having children in general, and me in particular. They yelled at me for doing practically anything. We lived in a swanky flat in Knightsbridge where everything was cream-coloured and all the glass tables were covered in decorative stones that had all been hand-selected by a man in Somerset. Why on earth they were any better than just normal stones, I have no idea. But Mummy always got really cross when I played with them, so I chucked one through a glass window and pretended it was an accident. Mummy was always very worried about the flat, about the window latches not going with the doorknobs, and about the vases from Paris clashing with the curtain sashes from Venice. She spent all day wandering around the rooms, checking for smudges on the walls and fingerprints on the light switches. Mummy and Daddy seemed angry a lot of the time, but they got especially annoyed when they couldn't get me a new nanny, because all of mine kept on leaving and word had got around about me. Honestly, it's not my fault that nannies don't like practical jokes and burst into tears all the time. I don't know why Mummy even needed one in the first place. It's not like she had anything better to do than look after me. I hardly ever saw Mummy and Daddy. They avoided me in our huge flat and they never let me eat with them, even though I was an only child. I had to eat by myself every night at the big sharkskin table in the dining room, while they shouted at each other in the next room about Mummy and her paintings. Most of them portrayed Daddy as an evil centaur. Then they would send me to my room, which Mummy had painted grey because the interior decorator told her it would be more sophisticated and I could grow into it. This was obviously pretty pointless given that, as it turned out, Mummy and Daddy would be dead soon and there'd be no time for me to grow into the room anyway. I'd sit in my grey room listening to them throw decorative ashtrays from china at each other's heads and talk to my imaginary friend Malcolm, who sometimes told me to peel the paint off the walls and once made me hide some of Daddy's important paperwork from him. Malcolm was great. He had a face on the back of his head. Mummy didn't really like Malcolm either, and wouldn't let me talk to him in front of her, so he used to spit in her drink when she wasn't looking, and sometimes wrote horrid words on her paintings. Malcolm always knew how to cheer me up. Then Malcolm went to live with the family next door. I don't think their little girl liked him. She always burst into tears when I pointed out that Malcolm was walking behind her in the hallway. So that was the first part of the first chapter of the book, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you read it and you like it. Bye! I have always been obsessed with murder and murderers, especially when I was younger, when I was about the same age as the protagonist.